not rocket science. These are just people skills, and I would assume that just about everybody in here tonight has good people skills, having been involved in politics. This effort will expand voter constituencies for us, because if you're bringing in new membership through grassroots organizations, issue groups, and you're enhancing your own membership and encouraging people to stay involved, you're going to build those forces, and you're going to create a pool of qualified candidates to run for public office. We educate, we train, and we keep people involved. And we also build the voter constituency, because when the voters see us adding value, bringing more people into our committees, we have larger numbers, we fill this whole hall, and we have some free press there to cover what we're doing. You know, people get excited, and we're going to increase our voter constituency base. I also believe we ought to appeal to independents and the Reagan Democrats. So we need to look for these populist constituencies. In the Republican ranks, we ran a lot of people for president. A lot of good men ran for president. Unfortunately, no women this time out, but a lot of good men with skills. Everybody from Mitt Romney to Duncan Hunter. These were all good men, and they're all capable. And I would feel confident with any one of them in our government in various capacities. You look at candidates like Ron Paul, Duncan Hunter, Sarah Palin, Mike Huckabee. Okay, these folks are more populist. They appeal to the working class, the populace. I think if we need to find ways to reach out and appeal to that working class, to the populist vote, independents, and Reagan Democrats, and the tendency really is to feel their pain, to understand where they're coming from, the businesses they're involved with, the economy they're dealing with, the families they're raising. So if we can do this, I think it will be very appealing. I went to a rally up in New Hampshire for Mike Huckabee, and I was actually in support of Duncan Hunter early on. And I was probably the only guy with a Duncan Hunter sticker on my car in Western Massachusetts. But in any case, there was something about that guy I really loved, and I supported him until he got out. And then I supported a few other guys all the way up to John McCain when we had to take care of business. So I went to a Mike Huckabee rally, and it was just totally amazing, the people he brought out into this middle school in New Hampshire. They were just regular folks across the board. Families poured into the auditorium, kids, adults, single people, men and women. It was a diverse crowd ethnically, and they helped raise money for local charities, which was awesome. We had Chuck Norris on stage. He played the bass guitar in the high school band. It was great stuff, and I think we really need to appeal to that. Mike Huckabee didn't have all the money in the world, but he did a pretty good job. Some people might say he caused Mitt Romney to fall out of the race. I don't think that's the case. We could save that discussion for another time. We also need to, the second item here, besides recruitment and bringing in the grassroots and committee members, is having a principled approach grounded in true republicanism, and this is very, very important. And as leader of this state GOP, I would bring that principled approach. I think we need to emphasize daily limited and smaller government, because government is not our friend most of the time. And we need to have lower taxes. Right? Everything is just too expensive for us. We need to fight, like the property tax abatement workshops that I help organize. We're fighting. The local government, which I work for, doesn't like it, but hey, that's too bad. We have a voice, and we should get out there and we should fight. We should uphold core constitutional principles and for individual freedoms and liberties. The Constitution is designed to protect each and every one of us. The statute that the state passes, all these different laws with 6,000 to 8,000 bills per year, that's to encroach upon our freedoms and principles. Okay, those laws encroach upon us. They take away our freedoms and liberty. The Constitution protects us. So we should uphold constitutional principles. I do not believe in a living document Constitution. Forget it. It is what it is, and we need to uphold that for each and every one of us. For instance, we should protect gun ownership. I wish all of you in here tonight, if you're qualified to own a gun, you would have one, either on your person or in your home to defend yourself and your family. Okay, and I will fight for your right to have gun ownership. And property rights are very important. You know, we shouldn't be pushed and forced out of our homes. We should fight for each other. If a neighbor is losing their home, we got to find out why that's happening and fight for property rights. And of course, free enterprise and trade, fair trade. I worked in the business community for 6 to 7 years in the 90s, and sales and marketing, and I was doing frontline kind of work with machine tools and manufacturing supplies and so forth. And what I've seen of business is we need to have that free enterprise, and we have to have fair trade, because the business I was in was a very mature business, and it started to decline while I was in it, and I got out because it was just not going anywhere. We're shipping everything overseas, and it's very sad and unfortunate. So as Republicans, I think we should uphold those principles. We should fight every day for that. Some things, in addition to item 2 of establishing these principles, this is in regard to how we advance our party forward. We should seek and promote nonpartisan good government initiatives, like I mentioned, the Pioneer Institute and Citizens for Limited Taxation. We should field multiple statewide state representative candidates, and we shouldn't just run a few candidates at the top who we think might win because they're more viable and they have a lot of money. We should run as many state rep candidates across this Commonwealth as we can, even in primaries if we can, as long as the local and regional committees can support those candidates nominally through financing and morally through support, encouragement, and so forth. And then the candidates should have a small team in order to move their campaign forward, raise money, balance the books, and do all these things that are important for state rep candidates. We should build multi-layered committee structures, and we should root out dysfunction. You know, Barry was raising some issues here tonight. Valid or not, it will be for you to determine. If there is dysfunction there, we need to root it out, because it's a cancer for us. We need to get rid of it, and we need to build a committee beyond that. And I think we need to advocate for public policy in line with natural law. And if you have any questions about that later on, I'd be happy to address it. And we should, like I said earlier, team up the issue groups with the local and regional Republican organizations. And the benefit is education. A lot of our committee members aren't educated on the issues. You know, they tend to rally around certain candidates because they're popular, because they speak well, because they have a lot of money. But let's look at the issues and get energized and educated and be involved in this game for a reason. The third section of the presentation is financial security, raising money for the Mass GOP. Like I said earlier, I think the local committees, the wards, the cities, and the towns, and sometimes the regional committee can do a lot by raising money and help candidates. And we shouldn't be looking to the state party to bring home the bacon, because we can do well. And I know, personally running as a candidate, that we can do well and make improvements with hardly any money. I made an improvement from 22% of the vote to 31% of the vote in 06 to 08 with $5,000. So I know we can do it. It's hard work, but we can do it. And we should. My plan for raising money is more of a broad-based plan, because this is how I raise money. And when I ran for state rep, it was $22,000, and my governor's council candidacies were $5,000 to $6,000 campaigns. It was, not a lot of money for 93 cities and towns, but we can raise money by going broad-based and getting those $25, $50, and $100 donations from the grassroots. And we should rely on that. And I would have a fundraising team of maybe 4 to 6 people who know how to work with the grassroots very well to make